I came across this article here from Travel Noir from the French word black. Why some black women aren't happy with the hashtag Passport Bros movement. The hashtag Passport Bros have officially divided our internet. A growing group of thousands of black men is preaching to more men on social media platforms that women in other countries are the best source for a traditional woman to settle down with. Just follow the hashtag and you'll see black men of all ages describing their experiences with the opposite sex in other countries compared to the women in the United States. We have it here, Passport Movement Explained. Most of our content on Travel Noir consists of stories of people traveling and living abroad to find inner peace and happiness as a person of color on this earth. Black people have suffered through so many forms of prejudice in the United States that we have sought other countries to feel like human beings. The hashtag Passport Bros movement could be seen as an annex to the same inner peace and happiness concept. A group of black men who don't feel needed and admired by black women looking for love overseas. They travel to different destinations worldwide and find happiness with a partner of the opposite sex. Black women and other women of color in America have gone to their TikToks and social media accounts to speak against the Passport Bros movement passionately. Black women in America already have so much on their shoulders. For many, this movement is the straw that broke the camel's back. And it said right here, this Passport Bro movement is actually not funny at all. Like, at all. By Jamila Jones. Most of their rebuttals are the Passport Bros. Passport Bros are weak black men that don't know how to court strong black women. Some women believe that the Passport Bros' true intentions are to have sex with foreign women, and they are not searching for love. Other women have gone so far as to say they're emulating their white masters, who have been notoriously known for colonizing and going to third world countries to find submissive wives for decades. Some women stated that they're getting foreign women at the exchange rate, as foreign women only want those men for the little bit of money they give them, and they aren't falling in love with them either. Black women who are anti-Passport Bros have called these men scum, predators, and in some instances pedophiles. See right there. Even more interesting is the feedback from women in other countries. They are also going to their TikToks in support of the Passport Bros, stating that some women in the Western world don't know how to treat their men. Some say American women lack femininity, and when these men get to these countries, they treat them like men should be treated. They proudly speak on their traditional values and beliefs, even if they aren't from countries such as the United States and the United Kingdom. However, a group of black men also speak against Passport Bros, claiming they're just a group of guys with no game. The bros couldn't land a successful black woman because they lacked intelligence. Or, similar to what the black woman was stating, the passport bros are a group of liars looking to sexually exploit different countries because they were never accepted in social circles where they're from. Your thoughts? No matter how you slice it, the Passport Bros movement will continue to grow. One of their Facebook groups has over 10,000 followers. Men of all ethnicities and tax brackets are taken to social media and expressing their personal experiences to the rest of the world. I'd love to know how you feel about the Passport Bros movement. Is it positive for black men to find love in other countries, or is it just another excuse to get laid without putting in work while undervaluing black women? Please sound off in the comments below and be on the lookout for our next article when we get to speak to one of the vocal leaders of the hashtag Passport Bros movement. Well, in my opinion, I think, me personally, the first time I've been to Asia, for example, was 2004. Thailand was the first country I've been to. And that's before you have many black people, black men traveling out there. You know, at the time, the only black people I really saw were like the Africans in Bangkok, but they were living there like doing business, not really tourists. They had shops and so forth. Back then, you still had internet cafes, because I remember that was 2004. I remember going to an internet cafe. I was in Thailand in 2018. I couldn't find any internet cafe. Nope. Because the technology we got now, you know, where you got Wi-Fi, you got 4G and all this stuff. You can do a lot of stuff in your smartphone. Back then, in 2004, there was no smartphone. If anybody knew there was one, then, you know, tell me. Because I don't remember seeing any smartphone. I think I had a Motorola phone. One of those flip phone, Motorola. Cost over $400 back then. That's what I had. And that phone couldn't even do what these phones can do right now. These phones can do a lot with the apps and everything like that. But the point is, back then, when I went, I didn't see much of any black people, at least black Americans, traveling there. Like black men, black women, you know. Now it's different. Now, I think Thailand really opened up. I remember seeing a credit card commercial. There was a young black lady. She got her credit card and she was saying, "I'm going to use this to go to Thailand." You know, so it's like, wow, Thailand is in the news there on the travel list. Yeah, before you didn't have black people traveling to Thailand. When I arrived, I was going to take a tour. And I arrived in late December 2017, and then I went around and traveled around Indochina, came back to Thailand near the end of 2017, and I left in early January 2018. When I arrived in the airport in Suvarnabhumi Airport, I saw a number of people, a number of black people, a number of black Americans traveling there. When I first went to Thailand, nope, you didn't see any of these people around. So times have really changed, you know. And that's like, let's see, yeah, that's like 15 years, yeah. No, 15, 14 years because it goes from 2004 to 2017. Yeah. So that was like a 13 years difference, and you see lots of black folks traveling. So okay, so it's not only black men traveling, it's that the world has opened up. You know, you have you could communicate with people. You can get into chat rooms, which I did back then in 2000 so when I went to Thailand. But things are more open up now. You could see a lot of stuff, and Thailand is underrated. It's very popular. But the thing is, these men who go in to these countries or what have you, they have other grievances. Now they say, well, some of these men don't have any game. You know, they lack intelligence. I don't really think that's really fair to say that, because some of these people, some of these men or black men, they have families, they have girlfriends, they have children, and some of them feel like, wow, you know, I've been really screwed over, like in the court system, like family court or so forth. Like I haven't been treated well, you know. It's like, oh my goodness, it's like the court system is set up just for women and children, not for the man, and the man may end up sleeping in his car if he has a job, you know, just to pay child support. And that's one thing they don't take into consideration. And people feel, well, okay, you know, I can go overseas and I can escape that. So I don't think it has nothing to do with having no game and, you know, lacking intelligence and all that kind of stuff. I think, to me, that comes across as kind of like petty, in like the case of the fox and the grapes, sour grapes, as they say, that kind of stuff. I don't really see it that way. I think some of these men say we live in an unfair system. You know? It's like, okay, the Constitution of the United States has certain guarantees in there, you know? The writ of habeas corpus, from the Latin word, to have the body, meaning that you can be granted things like bail, you can apply to be before a judge within so many hours or days or what have you. Otherwise, if they can't charge you, they have to let you go. That kind of stuff like that, right? If you commit a crime. However, when it comes to child support, everything that's written in the Constitution about habeas corpus and about, you know, all those different rights and due process, they go out the window in family court. No, they don't apply. You can be locked up. You can be thrown in jail for child support if you can't pay. You can have your passport taken away or not renewed. You know, all kinds of stuff like that. Things, I think they may make an exception if you're a driver, like if you need to drive and not have your driver's license taken away, if you need to make a living driving or something like that. So people who've been through that, they have their own stories to tell. And none of these stories none of these things ever really ever affected me. I never really went down that road. I have no idea what it is, but I'm aware. I've never been in a custody battle. I've never been in a dispute or, you know, child support kind of stuff or so forth. I've never been involved in that, but that doesn't mean because I've never been in it, that means I'm not aware of what's going on. A lot of men have grievances and that. And it's not only black men. I mean, you have a lot of other men, white men too, who find themselves in similar predicament. But I guess they're picking on black men and say, well, you know, you want to be like a slave master, or maybe you want to be like those men from France who went to Tahiti remember? And the mutinied because the woman in Tahiti was so gorgeous, so fine, the weather in Tahiti is so nice, and the men didn't want to go back to France. Simple as that. So the mutinied. Yeah, the mutinied. At the same time, unfortunately, they brought a lot of STDs that killed off a lot of the people in that part of the world, like in Tahiti, that area of the world. Yeah, many of these people die. A high percentage, I think it was over maybe 70%, because they didn't have anything naturally to protect them from these diseases. So that was the other concern right there that happened. But this is not the story today. This is definitely people who believe that before they die, they want to find somebody that can love them. Some people put a premium on love. Not everybody. Not everybody's like that. Some people could be like me. You could live your life and don't have to worry about such things like that. But some people are like a fish out of water. They must have some woman, they must have somebody, they must have their soul out, and it doesn't really matter what country she's from. Yeah. Now, I know, the article mentioned some people criticize and say, well, these women just want a little bit of money and this and that, and that's what they're after, or what have you. Well, you could say the same thing too in this country. Some women after the money too, because, how many women you can go out with in America? Let's say you go out to a restaurant and they're gonna really pay the restaurant bill, right? If you go out to eat, and if you probably ask the woman to pay the bill, or say, "Are you gonna pay this bill?" She probably get into an argument with you, or she probably make a TikTok video and call you a cheap son of a bee. So can you imagine this guy I went out on a date with, and he had the nerve to ask me if I could pay the bill or pay half or something like that. So this is what you're dealing with here, Whereas in some of these other countries you visit, you can really eat for for really cheap. You can go, you can dine. You can have a whole pig or something like that, and you could eat. Maybe $100 you could pay, and you can have a whole family eating with you. Yeah. Whereas in America, you can't do that. Things can be expensive here. Unless you're eating at KFC, and if you take a girl to KFC, she probably slap you in your face. Unless she really, really, really likes you, then she wouldn't do it.